Welcome to today's What Will Move the Market show. I'm your host Prem. It's Thursday, November 6th, 2025, and here is everything you need to know as the markets open for today. Let's kick off with what happened on Wall Street overnight. On Wednesday, the major US indices staged a solid recovery after a tough Tuesday session. The S&P 500 climbed 0.4% to close at 6796. The Dow Jones added 0.5% to reach 47,311, and the Nasdaq Composite rose 0.6%, finishing at 23,499. The rally was driven by strong employment data. Private sector payrolls jumped 42,000 jobs in October, crushing expectations and marking a significant rebound from September's weakness. This positive labor market surprise eased earlier concerns about an economic slowdown and Fed rate cuts. Advanced micro devices led the tech sector recovery, jumping more than 2% after posting third-quarter earnings that beat expectations, which sparked a broader AI stock rebound. McDonald's also shined after strong sales from the return of its popular snack wraps, while taser maker Axon Enterprise slumped on disappointing profit forecasts. On the macro front, there's building anticipation around the Supreme Court's hearing on Trump's tariff policies. Justices showed considerable skepticism about the legal validity of the administration's broad tariff authority, signaling possible headwinds for some of the protectionist measures announced earlier. Turning to Indian ADRs overnight, Infosys traded around $16.31, up a modest 0.12%. HDFC Bank held steady at $36.28, with just 0.11% gain. ICICI Bank was essentially flat at $30.41, and Wipro was up 0.58% to $2.59. The moves were muted, reflecting cautious overseas investor sentiment on Indian blue chips amid global valuation concerns. Across Asia this morning, sentiment has turned decidedly more positive. Japan's Nikkei 225 index is up 1.45%, bouncing back strongly from its losses in recent sessions. South Korea's Kospi has surged 2.5%, leading regional advances after yesterday's tech sell-off. Australia's ASX 200 rose 0.58%. Shanghai and Hong Kong remain mixed, with Hong Kong's Hang Seng still navigating pressure from China property sector woes and lingering trade concerns, though mainland markets are showing some stability. Critically, GIFT Nifty, the derivative contract on India's Nifty 50, is trading at 25,754, up 66 points since Tuesday close. Yesterday, India markets were closed. This suggests a marginally positive to flat opening for our benchmark indices. The trend remains constructive given the strong recovery in Asian equities and Wall Street overnight. Traders are keenly watching whether we can hold above the 25,600 level, which has been a key short-term flow. On the geopolitical front, the Supreme Court's skepticism over Trump's tariff regime could be a game-changer for global markets. Several conservative justices, including Chief Justice John Roberts, directly challenged whether the administration has the authority to impose such sweeping duties on all nations. If the court rules against the tariffs, it could unwind some of the trade policy uncertainty that has weighed on sentiment. Additionally, fresh U.S. sanctions on Russian oil producers have tightened supplies. Seaborne Russian crude exports have plummeted to their lowest since January, after new sanctions deterred key buyers like China and India. This is adding support to oil prices despite broader concerns over global oversupply in 2026. Back home, the Indian market is shaking off Tuesday's losses with a constructive undertone. Foreign institutional investors continued net selling on Tuesday, offloading 1,160 crore rupees, even as domestic institutional investors picked up 1,042 crore, signaling domestic strength supporting the market. On the rupee front, the RBI appears to have intervened in the offshore NDF market on Tuesday, which helped the Indian currency appreciate 22 paise, its strongest move since October 16. This rupee stability is crucial for exporters and FII flows. Today, we'll be tracking earnings releases including LIC and Ola Electric Q2 results which are due. The Lenskart Solutions IPO witnessed its allocation basis today and is set to list, while Grow IPO continues its subscription phase. Orkla India and Safecure Services will make their D-Street debuts as well. For our traders, here are today's key technical levels. The Nifty 50 faces immediate support in the zone of 25,600 down to 25,400. A sustained move below 25,500 could invite weakness toward 25,300. On the upside, resistance kicks in around 25,800, and a strong breakout above 25,700 will be essential to revive bullish momentum. For Bank Nifty, which has been outperforming, support is placed in the 57,300 to 57,450 range, while resistance sits at 58,250 to 58,350. If Bank Nifty breaks above 58,350, we could see a move toward 58,800. On the commodity front, crude oil prices are holding around $60 to $60.5 per barrel amid a complex picture of rising U.S. inventory and fresh Russian sanction-driven supply tightness. Brent crude is trading around $64.5. Gold is down and hovering around $3,908. Silver too is bearish and is around 47.6 EIGTH. These are easing due to global uncertainties relaxing a bit. Here's the tactical theme for today. Given the mixed global cues, positive US employment data and stocks earnings versus lingering valuation concerns in big tech, combined with our domestically supported market, we're likely to see range-bound to flat to positive opening. Quality banking and IT names that have consolidated may offer compelling buy-on-dip opportunities, especially if Gift Nifty's slight discount holds. However, traders should be wary of moving substantially above 25,800 without strong volume, as we remain in a consolidation phase after the recent correction. Do support us and subscribe to this podcast and share this podcast with your friends. Stay tuned for the evening wrap, send in your market questions on our social media, and let's make this a profitable trading day. This is Prem signing off. See you on the next session.